This talk relates to market testing in conjunction with new product development, and it links to other talks in the series, for example, idea generation, and you should look at those videos as well and make a comprehensive set of notes running across the various videos on this topic. However, to start looking at market testing, we start by looking at this stage, which involves the product to analyze and its feasibility. We're looking at the product. We're just getting an overview of the product and its feasibility. So it starts with an idea. The product is then developed into perhaps a prototype or into some means of demonstrating the service or the product itself. Some sort of analysis of the market takes place, and then we move to the phase of testing. If everything is positive up to that stage, we move to testing. We move to finding out what the customer reaction to the product actually is. The product will normally be introduced to a specific region, a geographical area, whatever, where it can be monitored and modified as necessary. So generally speaking, new products, when they come into the market, they're tested in a particular area, and customer reaction is sought, it's recorded, it's analyzed, feedback is picked up, and an overall assessment of the performance of the product and its reception as a new product is picked up from the feedback in the area. It has its benefits, market testing. It allows the organization to observe the customer and also any competitors that are in the market already. How did the competitors respond to the new product? The competitors may react by changing their prices or changing their designs or their marketing strategy or whatever. But the competitors are certainly going to try and protect themselves from the new product. But also, it's important to pick up what the customers think. What are the customers' reactions? Will they try the product? Will they miss the product because they're brand loyal to what the competitors are producing? So it's important to pick up some feedback, overall feedback, of the reaction of both competitors and customers to the product in the area. Now, if the product successfully passes through the market testing phase, then of course the product can be launched on a larger scale. So it's always necessary to gauge what the customers think about the product, try to decide if it's a long-run pattern that they're going to purchase the product on a repeated basis, if it's viable to produce, if the price is right, if production and distribution and marketing are all correct. Correct in the sense that they will overall make a profit for the business. Overall, the product will not just pay for itself, it will generate a surplus that will go in through to the business. So if all of this happens, if the customers react positively to the product and the product is successful and has a price which enables it to generate the surplus I've just talked about, then the product can go into production. Now, there are limitations in market testing. Testing in a specific region does not indicate the success of the product. Care must be taken that the region selected is not atypical. It's not different to the rest of the areas. Its characteristics need to represent the wider market that's going to be the product's area for delivery later on. So it's important that the product reacts well in the selected area, but the selected area itself is representative of the whole market. For example, let's say in a particular country there are some industrial areas and some agricultural areas. Well, if the product is tested in the let's say, the industrial areas and does well, does that mean it will do well in the agricultural areas of the country as well? So it's important to get feedback which is reliable perhaps across the whole country, across the whole region, not just selecting one particular part which proves to have very idiosyncratic, very unique features and will distort the understanding of the success or failure probabilities associated with the product. Environmental conditions may change between testing and the actual launch of the product. So it's important once the product has been tested then to bring it to market soon afterwards, because if the product is tested and is shown to be likely to be successful, then introduce the product fast afterwards so it can get established. It can take root. If there's a long period in between the testing and the launch, something may happen. Competitors may introduce a new product again, or incomes in the area may vary significantly, or tastes may change in some significant way. There may be new ideas about the environment. Lots of things can happen, and the product hasn't been established, so it has no chance of succeeding because the environmental conditions has changed. So it's important that once it's been tested in an area, and once it's shown to be likely to be successful, that the test has been positive, then introduce it fast afterwards. So competitors are not passive. That's another problem. The competitors don't simply sit back and allow the product to come in. Competitors will respond to a new product. They may respond by cutting their price, or increasing their marketing expenditure, or by varying the design. And it's also the case that if the new product is innovative, if it has new features, then the existing competitors may alter their products to match those new features. Perhaps the product is giving the existing competitors new ideas about its design, about how it goes about marketing it, about its customers. So competitors are not passive. Competitors simply don't sit back and allow the product to come into the market. They respond. Now at the launch, the product launch, this involves the national launch of the product, let's say, or if it's not national, in the area that's selected, which will have some geographic location. It may be the whole country, or it may be a significant part of the country, or it may be the urban centres in the country, or whatever. But the point is, the product is now put in front of the consumers on a commercial basis. This is not testing anymore. It's now there as a commercial product. It's going to be sold to generate a revenue for the business, which will ultimately add to the surplus or the profits of the business. At the launch stage, to achieve a successful launch, the product is phased in. It becomes available in selected outlets. The marketing section will make a big play about the availability of the product and where it can be had. So customers become curious about the product and will want to possess it. It may become something to talk about, or something to boast about, that they've had an item of this new product. And that's all part of the marketing hype that can accompany the launch of the product. But it's in its introductory stage. It's, in terms of the product life cycle, it's right at the start. It's just at the beginning of the cycle. It's just coming in. It's taking root. It's getting established. It's got outlets, and it's been introduced, and it's been supported by marketing, and the company who has perhaps other products in the market will modify their literature, modify their promotions to introduce the new product and to talk about the new product. It's necessary to make sure that the timing of the launch is correct. The timing of the launch, what time of year is best to launch it. For example, if it's a new ice cream, then don't launch it in the middle of winter. The chances are it'll be more successful in summer. If it's a new car, perhaps coming up to the car registration period may be most appropriate. Or if it's a sports car, coming up to the summer when people think about sports cars more than perhaps in the winter. So there's all sorts of issues associated with the product, the timing of the product, the timing of the launch, the timing when the product is most likely to succeed. It needs to be worked out carefully, and probably the best way to do this is to talk to the likely customers and see what they think about the usage of the product, when they are likely to use it, what they're going to use it with, and what seasons best match that. Winter, spring, summer, autumn. Does it relate to a particular festival? Does it relate to a particular instance of time, a particular event? And how will the product be introduced into the market? Will it be an advertising campaign, perhaps a very expensive advertising campaign on television and in the press, or will it be simply posters, or will it come with the existing publicity that the business does? It's all a matter of cost. Some will be very expensive, some will be cheaper to do. So how does the business want to introduce the product? Do they want to just phase it in a low-key manner, or do they want to make a big scene and blast the public with advertisements and put up big advertisements in the city centres and advertise it on the radio, on the television? How does it need to be promoted? And really the expertise of the marketing section is vital in determining this. They should look at what the customers are like, what the customers for the existing products are like, what feedback they've had from existing customers. If the new product is related to the existing products, perhaps it can be slotted in with the rest, just added to the catalogue of products that the company produces. The publicity can be amended, the existing publicity can be amended to include the new product. It varies. It depends on the information that the marketing section have and their perceptions of what is required to get this product into the market and established. And then, of course, where will it be launched? As I said earlier, will it be on a regional basis or on a national basis? Will it be in a particular city, or will it just be in cities and not in the countryside? Where exactly will it be launched? Will it be launched in a particular country and not in other countries? It's important, again, that the marketing expertise is brought to bear on this. It depends on market research. It depends on the perceptions of the customer of the product, the uses of the product, the price of the product, and where it fits in terms of the importance of the product within the overall basket of goods that the customer buys. Is it something which is important as an important item of expenditure in the weekly budget, or is it something that's quite frivolous and perhaps a luxury which can be purchased once in a while? It depends on the nature of the product, and it depends on where customers have the resources to buy it, which areas are doing best economically, which areas have jobs and hence have disposable income. So there's a lot of feedback from marketing regarding where it should be launched. And launching it nationally may not be a good idea. It may be very expensive to supply all the outlets in the country with this particular product, and then perhaps have to advertise it nationally on television, on the radio. in newspapers, magazines, and so on. Expensive. That is expensive. So maybe launching it within a given area or a given city to start may be a good way of phasing it in, getting reactions to the product, seeing if it's successful within that area, and spreading it out. What makes a successful product? Well, introducing a new and unique product which provides for a certain need or want. It's important that the customers want the product. So the customers have a need. Perhaps the customers haven't recognized that they've got the need. Perhaps the product will identify the need, and suddenly the customers will think, that's a good idea, I hadn't thought I wanted that, but now it's in the market, I will get one. Many new products have this sort of characteristic. In a sense, nobody demanded Bluetooth. It was a development. It came about, and when it came into the market, customers thought, that's useful. We can send files over a short area, we can communicate one device to the other over short areas or short distances. It's very useful around the home. So Bluetooth devices were in demand. So sometimes the customers don't recognize their own demand. They don't recognize what they want. It's only when it's put in front of them will they recognize it. Other times, of course, the need is pretty obvious, as in the case with foodstuffs or clothing or essential items for the home. And what they're looking for is good value for money. They're looking for innovation, durability, reliability, safety. They're looking for a package of measures which makes the product attractive to them. So it's necessary for the marketing people, again, the marketing department of the business, to identify customer needs and to consider what the customers are likely to purchase if the product is in the market. There should be a niche in the market. There should be a gap. That's the best way to launch the product. If there is a gap, then the product can be delivered to that niche. A niche represents an opportunity. There's a gap in the product range, and if the business can identify the gap, they can provide a product which fits in there, it's more likely to succeed. If there's no niche, then the product will have to go head to head against perhaps a competitor's product, and the competitors will respond appropriately. They will cut the price, they will increase marketing, they will fight for their product, and that will eat into the net benefit of introducing the product. It'll eat into the resources necessary to make the product attractive and successful in the market. It'll eat into the profitability associated with the product. So a niche in the market is important. It's important that the competitor, or the producer in this case, identifies the niche and fits the product into that niche so that customers recognize it as an area that was hitherto not supplied and now it's been plugged. It's important that the product launch is well thought out and well planned. It can't be haphazard. It should be carefully thought out in terms of its timing, its location, like I said earlier, but it should also be thought out in terms of what publicity is going to be delivered. I suppose really the press releases, the impact that the business wants to make in the market. And of course, if it's found a niche, like I just said earlier, then it's going to be easier for them because they can explain to the customers that this was an area of need that customers had that was not before catered for. Now this product has come into the market and it applies to customers who have that particular need. So it's well thought out. It's not just, it doesn't just happen. It's not just supplied in the market. Of course, it goes without saying almost that the product must be of good quality and delivers what it promises. It's absolutely essential that the product is good quality, so it's perceived by the purchasers as good quality. Perhaps it goes, the image of the product goes with the other products that the company produces. And if the company has established a good reputation for quality production, quality output, this new product will benefit from that. And the launch will be easier because the customers realize that this business is reputable, it makes a good product, it's whatever. And that's the way in which a successful launch can take place. Now, what makes a product fail? Well, for a start, poor market research. Or I suppose, in the extreme, no market research. But poor market research is certainly dangerous because it feeds back the wrong information. It's not information, I suppose, it's more like data. It feeds back the wrong data to the company. And the company will make erroneous decisions based on the poor quality information, the poor quality data. Perhaps the surveys were biased, or perhaps the researchers were not meticulous about sample selection, or were not careful about what questions they asked. There was bias in the whole process. It'll all distort the information going back to the business, so it'll be poor market research, which is dangerous. Decisions based on poor market research are dangerous. It'll lead the company to make the wrong decisions. It could be also that the product is too complex to understand and use. If the product that's been proposed is complex, it's difficult to use. If it involves the user having to spend time programming the product or setting it up or using it, if there's a long time cleaning the product at the end and it's difficult to clean or difficult to use, it has certain requirements. The customers are not interested in that. Customers really want products that's going to make their lives easier, not more difficult. So complex products with complex requirements are not going to go down well in the marketplace. The market launch, as we talked about earlier, is important. It's important that the product is launched in a way that enhances the overall product range of the business, enhances the reputation of the business, gives the customers confidence in the product in terms of its quality. It's handled in a professional way. If it is handled in a professional way, if it looks professional and it fits with customer requirements, it addresses some niche in the market, it's more likely to succeed. Sometimes products can be too advanced for the market. The market may be just looking for a floor cleaner. Well, making a product that has the internet built in and cleans the floor and also has a radio and a conferencing camera, those things are unnecessary. The product is too advanced. The product is too difficult. It's confusing. It's a confused product. The customers wanted a product to clean the floor. What's the point of having all the rest of it attached? Only make products that address the specific need. There may be the case of making a floor cleaner, a product for cleaning the floor, which has got a light, because some areas when being cleaned may be dark, and turning the light on can show under furniture or whatever. There may be a case for a light, but anything more advanced is unnecessary. So don't attach everything to the product. Don't throw everything at the product. The product only needs to perform its core function. So making a product that's too advanced will be, first of all, very costly, and secondly, it'll confuse the purchaser. They're not quite sure what the product is for. Is it for cleaning the floor? Is it for surfing the internet? Is it for listening to the radio? Or what does it do exactly? It's confusing. They want something to clean the floor, so make something to clean the floor. That's it. Sometimes unexpected events may occur during the product development process. There can be new discoveries, new inventions. Competitors may come out with new products that were not anticipated, and perhaps the new products are very similar to what's under consideration in the business itself. It could be the government introduces new legislation, perhaps health and safety legislation, or rules governing the use of the product. There can be unexpected events which can influence the product, its launch, its development, and these need to be carefully monitored. If the product does not deliver what it promises, it will develop a bad reputation. And that may affect not just the product, but other products made by the business. So the whole business will be vulnerable. The whole business will develop a bad reputation and in the long run may fail. It may fail because one of the products has a bad reputation. So it's vital that the product is good quality and performs its core objective. Whatever that objective is, whatever the central objective of the product is, it delivers it. It delivers that service efficiently and easily. So if it doesn't deliver its core promise, the whole business becomes vulnerable. They're making products that are not suited for what they say. So the image of the business will be tarnished. Of course, products may fail because there's no demand for the product. Sometimes businesses introduce new products. They think there is a niche or a market demand. It turns out that customers are not serious about the product. They don't really want to spend their limited resources, their limited incomes on purchasing this particular product. The product doesn't address a need or doesn't address a significant need that they have got. So there's no demand for the product and the product will fail. Sometimes packaging and branding does not attract customer attention. In fact, nowadays, luxurious packaging may be seen as wasteful, and it may seem that it's going to damage the environment. This type of argument is often put up around the festive season, around Christmas time and New Year, when many presents are exchanged, and a lot of the present is paper and boxes and resources that the planet can't really afford. And as we become more conscious of the problems that we as a species are making for the planet we need because we live on it, the one that sustains us, as we are more conscious of the damage we're doing to it, companies are under more pressure to reduce packaging, to cut back on the impact, the negative impact that they're making on the planet. So packaging and branding may not attract customers. In fact, some branding and some packaging may be seen as wasteful. But branding, in other words, loyalty to the business and to the business products, may rub off on the new product and may have a positive impact. But the branding may also be negative because the company is seen as not necessarily that environmentally friendly. So these are some of the issues surrounding market testing, the launch of a new product, the timing of the launch, the niche that it aims at, the competitors, the needs that are being addressed, the core needs that are being addressed by the product, and why the product may fail. These are important considerations when we think about a new product or a new business coming into existence. But that's all I'm going to deal with in this session. So these points are important. It's a good idea to go back over the video, run it a couple of times, make your own notes, and do some reading in the area. This particular video, as I said earlier, is aligned with one on idea identification, and also on the whole idea of the product development. So I think there are two other classes that are linked to this very directly, but there will be more material coming out on this in this module and in other modules related to the course. So that's all I'm going to do in this session. Just let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.